Tom Clark's 6M podcast is a Boink Studios production. And now, on with the show.
Hey, what is up? Welcome to Tom Clark's 6M podcast. I'm your host, Tom Clark, and in this episode, I'm joined by co-host Phil Lindsey. Sometimes we review stuff on this show, and buddy, everybody hates it. And when I tell you everybody, I mean freaking everybody, okay? And, especially comic book crowd, we can be a pretty passionate bunch. In case you don't know, some of us are pretty freaking wacky. Others of us are fairly normal. I like to include myself in the latter, not the former. But hey, everyone's opinion counts for something, right? Until it doesn't. Let me tell you, man, this freaking Supergirl movie has been hated 6 ways from Sunday. It's been called effing awful, effing terrible. The F word's been included before as an adjective for nearly every description I've read so far. It's horrible. She's okay, but pretty bland. The story's awful. Why did James Gunn sign off on this? This is supposed to be the chapter 2 of the and now I'm already seeing headlines talking about, is James Gunn the right person to be leading the new DC universe? I'm like, guys, what happened? Because buddy, I watched this movie today, and let me tell you something. I don't know if I'm past the point of understanding the young people. I don't know. But buddy, I don't really understand where all the hate's coming from. If you hated Supergirl and you're going to listen to this show, you may walk away hating me. That's fine. It's weird. It's weird, I guess, but because I don't really have a whole lot of terrible things to say. Is this a perfect film? No. Is it a dumpster fire? Equally, no. I'm sorry. I don't agree with that. We got lots to talk about. We almost gave it away for free, just not even recording it. So we're going to get it on tape here, live to tape, as they say. But before we dive into it, let's do this. Supergirl is a 2026 DC Universe superhero film directed by Craig Gillespie and written by Anna Nogeda, based primarily on the acclaimed comics miniseries Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow by Tom King and Bill Keese Everly. Released by Warner Brothers Pictures on June 26, 2026, the film marks the second major entry in James Gunn and Peter Safran's rebooted DC Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters. The film stars Milly Alcock as Kara Zor-El, a version of Supergirl that we possibly have not really seen before. Not possibly, we've never seen this before, at least translated for the big screen. And the story follows her intergalactic journey alongside a young survivor named Ruthie, as they hunt Krim of the Yellow Hills, you heard that right, a violent space brigand responsible for destroying Ruthie's family and poisoning Supergirl's dog, Crypto. Upon release, Supergirl received mixed reviews from critics. I mean, not quite, but who praised Milly Alcock's performance, the film's visual ambition, and its willingness to take a darker, more emotionally complex approach to the character, while also criticizing its uneven tone and at times fragmented storytelling. The film also opened below expectations at the box office, well below kids, earning around $38 million domestically in its opening weekend, and ultimately reaching around $72 million worldwide against a reported production budget of around $170 to $186 million, putting it well below break-even projections and sparking immediate debate about the duration and financial stability of the new DCU. That's right. They got the pitchforks and they've lit the torches, kids, and they're coming for that James Gunn guy. But that is your lowdown on Supergirl. Phil, we said this before we hit record. Am I crazy? Have I lost my mind? I was kind of hoping you'd come back with, Tom, I can appreciate your point, but this is a pretty bad movie. But you didn't do that, did you? What did you think about this?
I was surprised how much I liked this movie.
Yes.
I liked it, and I was confused at the reaction to it because before I went to see it, I saw the Variety article that came out and the review from that outlet, and then I saw the Rotten Tomato scores, and I was like, oh, this thing is kind of getting hammered. We'll see. Listen, I'm kind of in for the ride at this point.
Yeah,
I've been watching comic book movies for a long time. yeah, I could just make up my own opinion of these things. And we've seen some really bad comic book movies over my lifetime. We've
Mhm.
seen some really bad movies. And so I thought, hey, even if this is bad, it'll be a fun day at the matinees. We'll see. And so when I saw it, I was like, wait a minute. This is what these people are saying that they hated. I was like, if anything, I felt like if you came away from it saying, "Oh, that was just okay," or that was fine, I can understand that standpoint.
Hmm.
But to say that this was like aggressively bad, no, I didn't
Yes.
think that at all. I was so confused why people were this up in arms about it, and I think some of this is Twitter. To be completely honest with you,
Yeah.
I think some of it is Twitter, and I think some of it is the YouTube algorithm of content creators um, that are, playing into, getting their thumbnails up, getting these big headlines up of like, why did Supergirl fail and all of this type of stuff. And at one point, I looked around and I was thinking, hey, this movie hasn't been out a whole week yet. Why are we
Right.
already talking about how this is like a historic flop and all these other things? It isn't even a week old.
Right.
It's like they were trying to will it into existence that this was going to be a flop. And look, I think this movie has issues. Yes, I don't think it's a perfect movie, like you said. It has its flaws for sure. I think there's some pacing issues here. There's some editing issues that I think could have been addressed that would have made this movie much better. Um, and overall, I think that the ad campaign and the promotion of the movie wasn't great. And I think that kind of harmed it as well
Hmm.
because I very much got tired of the Blondie song. Every time there was a commercial for it that came up and we had to hear the Blondie song again, I was like, okay, all right. I don't think I need to hear this Blondie song ever again. And it's
Never.
surprisingly not in the movie, which is
Not
very
in the
funny.
movie. You know what happened? They spent all their money on the promos. They couldn't afford to put it in the movie at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's again like but even with that said, I think they could have done a better job promoting this movie. I was still very baffled by the outrage. And I think more than one thing is happening here. Um for one, we're still in this age of man babies online reacting to any genre film with a female lead, and it's just still very strange to me. I just don't get it. It's
Yes.
like if you don't want to see a movie with a female lead, just don't go see it. But actively rooting for it to fail and then spending the next few weeks or days talking about it constantly and bashing its leading woman, bashing the woman that wrote this movie. It's all very weird, and I think it's a terrible representation of our fandom.
Oh,
Um,
God, I could not agree more.
I hate it so much because it makes us all look like misogynistic man babies that if we
Yes.
don't get what we want or if we're not getting a product that we specifically want, then we're going to throw a tantrum about it on the internet. And make no mistake about it. I know some people are going to be like, well, here you guys go throwing around the isms. Make no mistake about it. Some of the response to this movie is very misogynistic. Um, some of the stuff I've seen said about this leading woman and her looks is very gross. It has nothing to do with the movie. If you don't like the movie, you don't like the movie. If you don't have any interest in going to see the movie, that's another thing. But then spending your time and saying, well, why did they even pick this woman? She's not even attractive. Comparing her to a cave woman and all this other stuff. I think all of that stuff is disgusting. You don't have to do all of that. And also trying to create this narrative around this, like when are they going to learn? Uh, Female leads in comic book movies don't work, and then you'll uh cherry pick the movies that failed and use those as your examples. Like
Exactly.
Wonder Woman 84 wasn't good. This movie wasn't good. And then also like look at the reception to Captain Marvel. All right, Captain Marvel made a lot of money for one thing. Captain Marvel was a successful movie. It was so successful that it got a sequel. It doesn't matter if you personally didn't like it. It did very well at the box office. And without looking at it, I don't have it in front of me. I thought that the reception critically to Captain Marvel was pretty good. I thought Black Widow, that they did not bring up, also was received pretty good, all things considered, even though it was a
Yes.
movie that happened later than it should have.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. Yeah.
Um, I think it's very interesting, and somebody brought this up on Twitter, and it was a fantastic point. I think it's very interesting that people do not consider Wakanda Forever a female-led comic book movie. It is. The
It
leading
of
actress
course it is.
is a female lead. It's a legacy hero, and that movie did extremely well commercially and critically.
Great
Um,
point.
the fact that people bring up Wonder Woman 84 constantly, Wonder Woman 84 is a bad movie. I'm pretty sure we
Yes.
reviewed it. It's
We
not a
did.
good movie, but the first Wonder Woman is great.
Yeah.
It's particularly the first half of it is very good. And it was received very well. We don't have to do this. Like, just because you personally don't care to see a female lead in these movies, you don't have to throw these like tantrums online and then create this whole campaign and root for it to fail. It just looks very immature, man. It looks very childish. I don't know why so many grown men do it. And you have just as many grown men going on and saying, well, maybe if they cast Sydney Sweeney or this woman I personally think is
God.
attractive or goon
Yeah.
worthy, then I would have went to go see it. Hey, why didn't you go see Madam Web then?
Good point. Yes.
I don't
Why
know.
didn't they? Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter how attractive the woman is. It doesn't matter if the woman says what you want. Because that was the other thing. People were saying Millie deserves this because of some answers she gave to people in the press. It doesn't matter how well spoken the actress is. It doesn't matter how good she looks. We've seen this multiple times of a woman in these kind of movies getting harassed. They're the history of it. They're the history
Yes.
of it with Supergirl alone.
Yes.
Melissa Benoist was harassed when the Supergirl show was on. Sasha Calle, who was the Supergirl in the Flash movie, also harassed because she wasn't blonde and
Yeah.
because she didn't fit their look for Supergirl. And the
Because she
same
wasn't
thing is
100. She wasn't 105 pounds.
yeah, the same
Yeah.
thing is happening with this young woman as well. And
Yeah.
we saw what Scarlett Johansson went through. We saw what Brie Larson went through. We saw what Daisy Ridley went through with the Star Wars films. This has happened to countless women in this genre, in this fandom, for us to not just call it what it is.
I mean, dude, Scarlett Johansson on the press tour for the Avengers movies had reporters, when they got to her to ask her questions, were calling her beautiful to her face.
Yeah, there's countless issues with like the press in between these Avengers movies with Scarlett Johansson.
Yes.
And you having things like Jeremy Renner having to apologize for something he said as a joke to one of these questions.
Yeah.
And countless other things like that none of her male counterparts had to deal with.
Listen, you nailed it earlier when you said it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for the fanboy culture. It's bad enough when bad things happen in pro wrestling and I just shake my head and go, yeah, I'm not a fan today. I'm not a fan of this today. It's embarrassing. It's the same thing with this. You're right. It's cringeworthy, these takes, man.
Yeah, and I mean all the way to some of the talking points about the book and how it's not a straightforward adaptation to the book. And I have the book, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. I haven't completely finished reading it. I bought it before the movie came out with the plan of reading it before the movie, and I just didn't get around to it. But I started it since I saw the movie. And of course, people are doing the usual. The book is better than the movie. I mean, 9 times out of 10, that's the case. The book is usually better than the movie because the movie has to serve multiple masters.
Yes.
I've gotten out of that phase in my life of wanting these movies to be a note by note adaptation of the book, because it's just never going to be the case. There are superhero movies that I love that are nothing like the book.
Yeah.
Captain America: Civil War is great. It's nothing like that miniseries. There's so
Nothing.
many things that are missing from it. And you could go on and on. We just talked at length about how great the Daredevil Born Again show is. Nothing like Frank Miller's Born Again.
Nothing like it.
And it's like if you're gonna have that energy for this movie and say it has to be, why did they change all these things? Why is it not like the book? A lot of these things aren't like the book. Why is this any different?
Yeah.
I just don't get it. And then the poor woman that wrote this thing and people trying to make her out to be a bad writer, and why was she even brought in? She doesn't even have any credits writing these kind of movies. Why does that matter?
Mm.
I don't know. I just saw someone talk about this. The current writer that's writing the biggest Marvel movie that's happening this year in Doomsday, he doesn't have that many film critics. He was still new to writing films within the last few years.
Wow.
Nobody said that about him.
Wow. Yeah. Oh my God. We reviewed all of that new Star Wars trilogy. So we sat here and talked about her. We did The Acolyte, which, that movie got its fair share of hate. I wasn't a fan, but I wasn't a fan not because there was women in it, you freaking weirdos.
Yeah.
Dude, we've and like you said, we did Wonder Woman 84. I just don't. I've called myself naive for years, Phil, because I just don't understand what good does this do? And by the way, what you mentioned about they were trying to tank it, it worked. This movie tanked. It tanked, dude.
Well, I mean, I don't think that's entirely the internet outrage, but I don't think that it's helping.
No.
Review bombing this thing, and it's very much people review bombing it because there are so many people that had things to say about the movie before it was out. It's like you haven't even seen this movie.
Yeah.
At least go see it before you come out and just bash it like this.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think that's also kind of the thing with these kind of movies with a female lead. It's kind of like any of these other big movies with a lead that is not like a heterosexual
Yes.
white male superhero. It's like it has to do so well to justify that others will be made. And that's why I hate the narrative of, oh, this movie isn't good. When are they going to stop making these comic book movies with female leads? Why does every movie with a female superhero have to be perfect, or else we need to stop making them?
Yeah.
Like, I just hate that idea. And that was the idea at some point for black characters as well, where it's just like this, if it's not great, like just think about how good Black Panther had to be.
You're not wrong.
And it's just like, if that movie was made at any other time, the conversation would be so different.
Yeah. Again, it's freaking embarrassing. Like you said, I just don't understand it. And on top of that, I mean, we're going to talk about pacing. We're going to talk about possible plot holes. We're going to talk about dialogue that maybe was repeated too much.
Yes.
Yeah. This is a great version of the character, though, isn't it?
Yes. S word is thrown around a lot in this movie.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I was like, I wonder what is the counter on how many times she said that.
Yeah.
Because her immediate reaction every time. I was like, all right. Which didn't bother me. But because I understood what they were trying to do. If you know the history of Supergirl and Superman, it was hard to get people past the idea that Supergirl was just female Superman.
Yes.
Or Superman in a skirt. It's like, and so I got what they were doing with this movie. They were trying to make the point that she is so different from Superman. They wanted to give her her own identity. And in that way, I think this movie succeeded because they did such a great job of, giving her her own problems and making her her own distinct character.
Yeah.
And all the way to the point, there are certain things she does in this movie that I'm caught off guard by it. But I was caught off guard because I was like, well, Superman would never do that, which is the point.
Murder, by the way. Flat out murder.
Yeah, which is the point. And I'm sure we'll get into the ending. The ending didn't bother me because I got what they were trying to do. I totally understand, which, of course, that deviated from the ending of the book, and people were upset about that as well. But I think the overall task that they had ahead of them of trying to create a character that is interesting enough on her own and isn't just, a super family character that is too close to Clark. I thought that they did a great job of that from the beginning of the movie on. I thought all of her interactions with Clark in the movie were great. If anything, this movie cemented that they have the perfect Superman, because I absolutely loved his cameos, especially when they do the flashback of her ship landing on Earth and he's trying to talk to her and he's like, why am I talking so loud? That you're not going to understand me. And then he continues to talk loud. It's just so endearing. It's so great. He's so goofy and charming, man.
Yes.
And I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved like all of the stuff, like him continuing to check up on her, and she's ignoring him. But I think like the main point here is all Clark knows is Earth.
Mm.
He's settled into being an Earthling.
Yes.
He doesn't identify as a Kryptonian. Kara is the opposite. Kara, all she knows is Argo City. And so he's telling her, you know, you got to come back here and you got to settle in because you got to find your people. And he doesn't understand that she's basically telling him in so many words, I don't want to find my people.
Mm.
I don't feel like I'm ever going to fit in here. I'm not like you.
Mhm.
Like I don't see Earth as home.
Yeah.
And I think he means well. It's not like he's trying to do anything to force it on her. He means well, but he doesn't see all the trauma that she's been through because she experienced the death of her home and all of her family and everybody she loved. He didn't have to go through that.
Mm.
Like of course he has that trauma on his character, but he doesn't remember any of it. He wasn't there.
Yeah, because they got him out before, he could have before he developed any memories of being there.
Boink Studios YouTube is the home of Tom Clark's 6M podcast. Tom Clark's main event, Bear Mode, a podcast review of The Bear, and Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. Subscribe to the channel for archives that date back to 2014, with new content being uploaded every week. And check out boinkstudios.com for links to every podcast platform, social media, special announcements, and a lot more. Bookmark the site today.
This version of her, it's not shaped by what he got, but it's shaped by like isolation, loss, survival. And like, this version, she's more chaotic, emotionally hardened, and just drifting across space because she's trying to find her purpose because she's lost everything that ever mattered to her.
Yes. I believe it was somebody from Screen Crush that made this great observation that Superman in his movie is the story of an immigrant that was essentially moved to Earth as a baby.
Mhm.
Kara is a refugee.
Oh my God, that's excellent. That is excellent, dude. That's so good because it's true. Yeah. I mean, it's again, like I just love the character, and I fell in love with her when she showed up at the end of that Superman film, like hungover, and I think she called him bitch or whatever she called him.
Great.
I'm like, all right, I'm in. I like this already. This girl's pretty cool, and I love that they just stuck to their guns, man. Real quick, I'm not saying that he had time. Maybe he didn't have time. Would we have a different movie if Gunn had directed it himself?
Possibly. You could see Gunn's influence on it.
Yeah.
There's reports that he had notes on certain things. Apparently, the needle drop that people did not like in the third act, it was his choice.
Yeah.
Which, again, I don't think it was the worst thing in the world. It didn't bother me that much. Yeah, I think there's a bit to that, but I also kind of think that people are missing the point if they try to say that this is a Guardians of the Galaxy clone. I get why you would say that. I get what, because again, like James Gunn's Guardians trilogy, and the world building he did in outer space, and the music choices he did, and how much music was a part of that movie, and
Right.
just like the color scheme and everything, you could see how that influenced this movie. But I came away from this thinking the same way that the book is kind of an homage to True Grit with Supergirl in it. This movie very much feels like a Western to me. Like
It does.
it has like that same vibe of the Westerns, like the grit to it, the muddiness. Like it's a very brown movie.
Yes, it is. Wow.
Like
Yeah.
color scheme, there's a lot of browns in this movie. But I think that that's intentionally because Superman is very bright and colorful. And this movie, tonally, is just so different. Like it's got its grit and its edge to it. And I think that helps it. And I don't think it's just like, let's make this movie where Supergirl is disheveled and hungover and she curses a lot just for the sake of doing it. I think it fits her character and her character arc from where she came from like once you get the flashbacks and you get an understanding of
Oh man.
why this matters so much to her, why crypto matters so much to her, it's like, yeah, no, this all fits.
She's grieving, which, I don't know if we get that reinforced. I think without telling you, they show you, which is nice. This
Yes.
girl is grieving, dude. She's lost her entire family. Like, he's her cousin, but it's not the same. She didn't grow up with him. So, like, yeah, dude, I love the idea that she is an imperfect and she's flawed. I love that.
Yes. Yeah, I really like the what they've done. I thought Millie did a great job. I
I
thought
did too.
for all the flaws this movie has, I think that she is really the highlight of the movie. I think she did a great job. Um and I think they did a great job of like showing her as disheveled at certain points, like when she's
Mhm.
hungover. I thought the action scenes were a lot better than I expected them to be.
Yeah.
Uh, when she like is not on any of these planets with the red sun, and she can actually like kick out and just like show like the full extent of her powers, like that comes off really well. And I
Mm.
think it comes off so well because in the scenes where she is on those planets with the red suns and she's still capable, she could still stand up for herself. She still looks like a warrior, but it's like, oh, once the gloves are off, this is a totally different character.
Yeah. Dude. I love the concept of when they got near a yellow sun, because we just, and what we think we know about the universe out there, we know our yellow sun, and the rest of it we can see from a great distance. But they would just get like, how close are we to a yellow sun? Oh, it's right over there. So I'm like, oh God, you girls are in trouble now. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's why I think the scene on that bus is great.
Yes.
When those pirates tried to steal the engines and everything and rob the bus, and she's initially trying to outsmart them and trick them. And what a great use of like the that like teleporter that they were using in that fight. That was cool.
Mm.
But then when they catch on to her and she gets kicked out of the bus and she nearly dies, and we get that great scene of her floating in space, and she gets closer to the yellow sun and then cuts loose. I thought that was fantastic.
So good. That was so good. Yeah, the effects are nice. I mean, they come after it all they want to. But I thought that was a beautiful shot, actually. And I mean, you're right. Milly Alcock did fantastic. Creme of the Yellow Hills, which does sound like something out of a western.
Yes.
Matthias Schoenaerts, I think he's French, I believe. It's a different kind of villain. I'm not going to say he's the most effective villain. I think they just had him
Yeah.
flat out murdering people so you'd hate him. I mean, it's pretty despicable. Uh,
Yes.
how effective is it? Did you buy into this villain, or what's your thoughts on it?
They did some changes to him visually from the book,
Mm.
because he looks more human in the book, and it's kind of the same thing in the book where he kind of uses like medieval weapons. It's kind of like this like space pirate that uses a bow and arrow and a sword, um, because that's kind of missing as well. The sword that Ruthie is carrying around in the book, um, it's Krem's sword.
Mm.
She's carrying around Krem's sword that he used to kill her father. Her father's not a swordsmith in the book. He's like a farmer or something.
Ah,
And so, yeah, that's kind of missed as well. But they made some changes to the Ruthie stuff as well that are interesting. Like I believe Krem only kills her father in the book.
oh, interesting. Okay.
He doesn't kill her whole family. It's one of those changes that makes sense though. I think it gives her a reason to go off and be as devastated that he killed her whole family. And then it also gives you a way for Kara to see herself in Ruthie.
That's Eve Ridley as Ruthie. I thought she was great here. Actually, that kid was.
Yep.
I thought it was interesting that Supergirl spent the whole movie telling her. And look, I will say by the third time she tells her not to do this, I'm like, I think we got it. It kind of felt like they went back to the well too many times. Maybe it was an editing thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then, like in the end, she does it anyway. That was such an interesting choice, man.
Yeah, I thought if anything, it would have worked better if every time they had that conversation, at one point if Ruthie had like saw her point and like faltered a little bit on it, like changed her mind.
Sure.
But pretty much stays on point the entire movie. No, I'm gonna kill this guy.
Yeah.
And at every time, Kara's like, I'm not gonna let you do this. And I've thought about it a lot since I saw the movie because I was very stunned that, when she finally did get through to her and she's ready to walk away, and then Kara turns around and stabs him with his own sword. Well, stabs him with the sword once for the dog and then again in the neck and kills him for the girl. And initially I was like, oh, that's a bold choice, especially with how negatively the Snyder stuff was perceived, and of
Yes.
course Snyder snapping someone's neck. I mean, so Snyder Superman snapping someone's neck. So I was like, "Ooh, that's a very interesting choice." But then when I thought about it, I was like, "Oh, of course, we're looking at it this way because we saw Superman kill somebody. Superman's not a killer."
No, he's
And
not.
so I think we're looking at it in that same way. It's like, wait, you're not supposed to do that. But then I was like, yeah, but they've also told us for this entire movie, she's not Superman.
Yes.
And she's even said it. Like, you got the great line of, he sees the good in everybody. I see the truth.
Yes, I love that.
And so, yeah, when I digested it that way, I was like, well, yeah, I get the point they're trying to make. And I don't think that's just a throwaway moment. I don't think this is not going to come back to bite her in the ass. I think that.
Yeah.
Her killing him is going to have ramifications because
yeah.
the scene with where the great scene where he's talking to her and then he explains why he wears the suit. And he's like, it's goofy, I know, but it's a symbol to show people that we don't mean any harm.
Yes.
And so that's definitely going to come back that she killed someone wearing that suit.
Oh my God.
And Clark doesn't know it yet. And that's what adds something to the scene at the end when she comes back. And of course, she doesn't tell him. But I was like, that's definitely going to come back to bite her. Lobo saw it, and Lobo's having the time of his life. He was like, yes, do it. And it already sets up this, because there's already a split between her and Clark.
Yeah.
Because, again, he's an Earthling through and through. He has Kryptonian blood, but he is an Earthling.
Yes.
She does not see herself as an Earthling. She sees herself as an alien. And because of that, she connects more with somebody like Lobo, who's an alien. Yes. And also, Lobo's way of life, Lobo sees himself as a loner. Lobo has killed. And I think, again, they see themselves in each other in a way that Lobo is obviously going to butt heads with Superman if they ever interact. But he's going to look at it like, oh, no, your cousin's cool, though.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Dude, you stole my best lines because I was going to say the word ramifications. And here's what I'll tell you. I don't know when it's going to happen. I'm hoping it's in the next Superman film. I need someone to die. I need this to be way more than you killed my brother, you killed our cousin. No. I think someone on this side needs to go because it needs to be a very heavy moment of Clark turning to her and saying, did you do that? Did you? Because you're right. This can't just be a throwaway scene. This has to weigh on her like she told the girl for the rest of her life. And it will, right?
Yes, because it's not just that she killed someone. She killed somebody wearing that suit with his symbol on it.
Yes.
And it's just that's going to come back in some way. It has to. Because it's not just that she killed nobody. Because I've seen a lot of people say the thing that doesn't work about the villain is that he's forgettable. I kind of think that's the point, is that he's supposed to be a forgettable, terrible person out there in space that's doing these things, killing people, trafficking girls, and he was just getting away with it all this time, and nobody did anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, the Brigands, their name, as we saw throughout the movie, it echoed throughout space. People knew who they were. And so if the person that ended the Brigands, that killed the leader of the Brigands, is wearing that symbol, that's going to go across space. It's going to be a known thing at this point. At some point, because we haven't seen anything with Clark in space yet, at some point, he's going to enter space wearing that symbol.
Oh.
And people are going to look at it like, wait, you're the one that ended the Brigands.
Yeah.
And he's going to be looking around like, what? What do you mean?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
And the villain for the next movie is Brainiac.
Yes.
The new Superman cartoon, there are ties between Brainiac and Kara. In the original cartoon, there were ties between Brainiac and Krypton, and multiple times they've made the connection between Brainiac and Kandor and the bottled city.
Mm-hmm.
And so that just makes me think like they made a point to show us, all right, this is where she lived. She was on Argo City, which of course is a part of her origin and other things as well. But they made a point to show us all this stuff in Argo City. And I do think it's going to get to the point where she's just like, he has to go. And they're going to butt heads over that because Clark's like, that's not what we do. And
Right.
she's going to be like, no, he has to go. He's a threat to our people.
So, two things. One, when she stabs him twice, it's very gruesome. But when she does it, you know what I immediately thought of was the scene in Superman where he's upset that they didn't save the big monster in the square.
Yes.
Because he's like, we should send it to museum. Don't do that. I'm like, that's what jumped into my head was him trying to save a monster that would have destroyed the entire city and killed millions of people.
Yeah, I just think there's so many layers to that there's no way this is just a throwaway scene. There's no way she's just gonna kill this guy and there's no consequences.
And you know what? I'm not the bloodthirsty fan because I'm with you. By the way, Superman's not a killer, Mr. Snyder. We've made that clear on the show.
Yeah.
But can I just tell you, when she kills him in this movie, I'm not going to say, I wasn't like rooting for it, but I thought, he needed to die. Like I really felt like, for better or worse, she could have walked away, but no, kill him. Which that's never me, Phil, but buddy, I was kind of all for it.
Well, I mean, one of the most hellish things you can do in any form of media is harm a dog.
Yes, ask John Wick, he'll tell you.
Once he shot the dog, people were already against him. You poisoned the dog.
Yes.
And I mean, I think that's also great because we got the Superman movie and we see in Superman, Crypto is basically a nuisance this entire time. Like,
yes.
Clark is babysitting this dog and he's just like, man, this dog is out of control. But the way that Kara interacts with him is totally different. And again, I think they did such a great job of separating these characters and showing why they're different. But yeah, after he shot Crypto, it's like, oh yeah. And then once you find out he's like trafficking women and he's like a murderer and all these other things, it's like, oh, this is a terrible person. Like it's like, of course you don't want to jump into, you can't redeem this guy, but he's essentially saying like, yeah, you talked her out of it, but I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop doing what I'm gonna do. Now, in the book, they throw him in a phantom zone. And he eventually redeems himself. But there is no Phantom Zone in the DCU yet. We haven't established that. But so maybe she could have done that. But I think the point here, at least what I took away from it, is so much has been thrusted on her that she did not ask for. Being the sole survivor of Argo City, she didn't ask for that. And her, the whole talk she has with her mother, and she's saying, you don't have to always be perfect. You don't always have to be nice, but you should be kind and all these other things. And I think that got the point across to me that no, she didn't ask to be a symbol. That's a choice Clark made. She didn't ask for all of this. She didn't ask to have to stand next to this guy that stands for truth and justice and the American way, and it's this big bastion of hope. She didn't ask to represent that. And so she understands the burden that has been taken on by being a sole survivor. And that's what she's really trying to get across to Ruthie throughout this entire movie. It's like, you don't get it. It's not just that you think you're going to kill this guy. No, you're taking on the legacy of your family. You're the only one left. You're the one that writes the legacy for your family. And so you have the choice for what it has to be. Her choice has been taken away from her. She's the sole survivor of Argo City, but I don't have a choice. And out here, where I've run away to all of these planets with red suns and tried to get away from responsibility, tried to get away from this image created for me on Earth, I'm going to do something that's selfish for me because no one's here to see it.
Right.
And not just that, but I'm going to do this and I'm going to take on this sin for you so you don't have to do it. Because you're too young. You shouldn't have to do this. You don't understand the weight of this decision. But I do. I understand what I'm doing.
And the last of her species, But because at this point, the next movie, she could fire back at Clark when he confronts her about the murder and say, "Well, they've got you, don't they? They don't need me, right?" Like, oh my
Yeah.
God,
Or
that's a good point.
again, she could just fire back with, "I never asked for this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I
yeah,
never
yeah,
asked to wear this symbol.
yeah,
I never asked to be an Earthling. I never asked for any of this."
yeah.
Or it's so much to it. It's just like there were those women that he was trafficking. Nobody was doing anything for those women. Nobody stood up for them.
It was an interesting thing to throw that in. Did that catch you off guard when that happened, or that's in the book? I assume though.
It's not so much in the book, but
Oh,
it's kind of an added thing. But it's not the first time we've seen that. I mean, because a big part of the stuff in Black Widow is also, human trafficking.
well,
But it's
that's
such a
fair.
relevant topic when it comes to women
Right.
currently. Because if if you're listening to this and you don't know that like sex trafficking and some of the stuff that is happening with women across the world is a very serious issue.
Mm.
Um, it is, and I definitely can understand the idea of having a female superhero that stood up to a sex trafficker in this way. When you've got news around somebody as famous as Diddy and like the claims of sex trafficking with him, Vince McMahon, uh, uh, Harvey Weinstein,
Mm.
Epstein. This is like
Yes.
this is big news now. So having a female superhero that stood up to someone that's trafficking women, yeah, that means something.
Yeah, that was big. I mean, put it in today's context, I could see it, and also I guess it makes the stakes a little bit higher, doesn't it? Overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I think it adds something here as well. I mean, I think that's why it's so cool when she does finally decide to put on the suit
Mhm.
because she spends most of the movie running away from it and like trying to solve this just as Kara. And she puts on the suit when she wants to be a symbol to Ruthie and the other women in captivity.
Mhm.
But that's also why, again, there's no way this is not going to come back to
Yeah.
bite her. There's no
Yeah.
way. Um, and this clearly is not the last time we're going to see Lobo. Lobo, they made a point to show us that Lobo witnessed it. There's no way this doesn't come up again. Which,
Yeah.
by the way, I thought Lobo was fantastic. For the as much as we see him in the trailer and the ad campaigns for this movie, I thought he was going to be in it more. Um, but I did really enjoy him in the spots we had him in.
That was my next question was about Momoa. I think he's in his element. I think it's perfect casting. I think we
Yes.
all knew 10 years ago it was perfect casting and nobody wanted to listen to us.
He was
By the
born to
way,
play this character.
yeah, he knew it was perfect casting too before he got the part. He knew it
Yeah.
then.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that he says Bastich. That made my freaking day.
Multiple times.
Yes. Dude, the cigar is right out of the comics. The way it lights up and everything is freaking perfect.
Yes. When he's walking down that dark hallway and you just see his red eyes and the cigar, really cool.
Great.
He looks the part. I thought they did a great job of capturing the look and just like the attitude of Lobo. And when he's in the fight scene and he's using the hook and chain, all of that stuff is great.
Mm.
Again, there's no way we don't see Lobo again. I would be really surprised if they don't do anything else with him.
There's a story going around right now about his next appearance. They've already revealed it. But
Hmm.
the headline's tricky. It's like, it's not what you'd think. So I don't know what that means.
I would absolutely take like a mini series or something on HBO Max about him.
Oh,
Like
man.
something where we just get like a few episodes with him and this character. I think that'd be awesome.
Oh, my God. I'd so be here for that. I think we all kind of knew that no matter what happened with the movie, he was probably going to be okay unless they just dropped the ball. Tom Clark's 6M podcast is sponsored in part by Radius Law Group. Every day, Radius helps individuals, families, small businesses, and nonprofit organizations throughout North Carolina, Florida, and Pennsylvania resolve their legal issues by providing effective legal counsel in the areas of estate planning, as well as elder law and Medicaid. Radius Law holds the radical belief that working with a lawyer can indeed be enjoyable. So give them a call at 1-800-519-5667 for more information and tell them that Tom Clark's 6M podcast sent you. He's great, man. I again, born to play this for sure.
I mean, if you can give Peacemaker a TV show, how
Yes.
does Lobo not get a TV show?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, this is look, as we said, this is a Supergirl defined by damage, not hope.
Yes.
Which I think the word damage is perfect for her. Krypton's destruction is not a backstory; it's an open wound,
Yeah.
which
Uh,
absolutely true.
but see, I think that's also interesting here because yeah, you can you could come back and get the interactions with her and Clark can snap at her and go, "This is not what we do. You know, I offer people hope," and she can snap back and go, "You didn't offer those women that no one did anything for a whole heck
Mm.
of a lot of hope. I
Yeah,
did."
yeah. You know, come to think of, I don't know if they'll go this far, but like, I wonder if she takes the shield off her chest in that Superman movie. I wonder if she just, I mean, imagine her in a black costume, something different. Like, oh, it's a big deal to you, then I'll stop wearing it. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, something.
They could go some routes with this. She
Man,
could
we're writing a
start
whole
going.
movie right here.
She could start going as Power Woman and do something else. There's routes they could go with this. But I do think that there's something to her earning the mantle of Supergirl, and this movie being a of age story. Because again, Clark made the choice to be Superman.
Yes.
He made the choice to make this a symbol. Um, but as we've seen with multiple sidekicks and people like even like just Dick Grayson as a character, and we've seen him take on the cow at certain points in the comics. He had to earn that. He
Yes.
had to grow into that role. And so I think they're making a point with this first movie of she's not quite yet the symbol that Superman is yet. She has to grow into that. She's only 23 years old and she's been thrust into this situation.
Yeah, because they made a point to say there was 10 years in between the two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That,
she's seen worse than he has.
oh my God. Yes, man, when the planet is going under, because she, what was it? She tells the kids, she's like, I thought Krypton or whatever. And she's like, no, not for, what'd she say, 7 years?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, dude, that's insane.
When somebody compared it to the Viltrumites, it was hard to unsee it. And I was like, it is similar
Mm.
because even they did do the nod to Clark Kal-El's parents that they sent him to be a conqueror,
Yeah.
uh, which is a very Viltrumite thing to do. But even the idea of like a Viltrumite that goes to live on Earth after watching so many of his people killed by the scourge virus, they're gonna look at it completely different. They're gonna look at Viltrumite heritage totally different.
Mhm. Yeah, that changes the complexion of this because then you start wondering, well, what kind of people are on Krypton? Were they all thinking like Jor-El? What's this? You know?
Yeah, and I mean, her pride. It's not even just that she is more Kryptonian than he is. She sees herself as a Kryptonian, but Argo City is all she knows.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. Her emotional state just deteriorates throughout this movie, kids, and her connection to Crypto, who's now poisoned and dying, becomes like the ticking clock driving her actions. Like she wasn't going to help this kid before, but when her dog gets, is on at death's door, she decides, well, I'm going to do this,
Yeah,
and it seems like a cheap tactic, but also it just makes a lot of sense that the dog would be in jeopardy, doesn't it? I think it made sense to
yeah.
me.
Well, it's a note from the book as well,
Ah,
that the dog is in jeopardy, but she of course reveals later in the book with Ruthie that he'll be fine. I was just using that as an excuse to tag along
mm.
with you.
Oh, I see. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, which they could have did the same fake out in the movie, but it would have felt kind of cheap.
It would have felt cheap. Yeah.
Uh, but I think it was also important here. We do see her in a very emotional state, but she's also very like in control of everything she's doing. It's not like she's doing anything out of emotion. She's making the decisions she wants to make.
Yeah.
I mean, when you see how reckless Ruthie is being in comparison, like when she tries to go up to Lobo and the whole time she's like, no, 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 we don't want to do that. Um,
Yes.
and there's at several turns where she's telling her like, no, 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 hold on, don't do that. Like, or when she flies out into space and she just yells to get her frustration out, and then she comes back and was like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. Again, none of this is like she's just doing things and just being like rash and impulsive.
Mm.
Um, even it is a selfish, probably, albeit it's a heroic decision in the end to kill Krim. It is
Mm.
in some ways selfish. Um, but it's still a decision that she wanted to make in that moment. It never felt like I'm doing this not knowing what I'm doing.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's very much a Western, like you said before. Gunn called this thing a space road movie
Mhm.
uh, during the development of it. Practical effects were used for a lot of the alien environments, which I very much appreciated.
Yeah.
And this movie intentionally is trying to avoid traditional superhero structure. Did it even feel like a superhero movie to you, man?
No, and I think that's part of what I liked about it.
Same.
I liked a lot of the set design. I liked a lot of design for the aliens. A lot of the quirky stuff where they were taking like mundane teenage things like going to a convenience store and making it alien. I thought that stuff really worked well.
Yeah.
The gag with the popcorn was great. Very gross,
Yes.
but it was great.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I there was a lot I liked about that stuff, and I think like if this movie is paced better, if it's edited better, if they did a better job of fleshing out things and letting certain scenes breathe, this movie would have been better.
Hmm. I mean, I agree, but also it's one of those things where it's like people complain about, "Wow, there's too many comic book movies. Those
Yeah.
Marvel guys did this and did that. DC, whatever. We want something different." They gave you something different. You freaking hated it.
Yes. And I mean, because we've seen so many superhero movies, the third act is always pretty predictable. It's pretty
Yeah.
formulaic. We got the big like Earth is in peril thing. Um, what is the superhero gonna do? This wasn't this at all. This was a very personal story. It's very character driven, and I think that that's what worked about it.
Yeah. Dude, I agree with that. Yeah. Let me ask you this. Is this the best interpretation of Supergirl that we've ever seen? I mean, I assume yes, because we got Smallville and we got the TV show, which I love, Melissa, and we got the Helen Slater movie. Is this the best interpretation, you think?
It's definitely the best movie adaptation
Yeah.
of Supergirl we've got. It's a very different Supergirl, depending on your introduction to the character.
Mm.
But even the Supergirl that's in the current animated series, she's very flawed in the same way, and she's on a redemption arc.
Mm.
So I could see them doing the same thing here of her having a redemption arc throughout the rest of these movies. Uh, but there's no way you're gonna tell me that some people watching this think that, oh man, this is the worst Supergirl movie we've ever seen. By default, it's the best Supergirl movie because the Helen Slater movie from the '80s is not good. Helen
No.
Slater is great, and you know she looked the part as Supergirl, but that's not a good movie. The other time we see Supergirl on film was in that Flash movie, which is a big mess.
That's
and
right. I forgot about that one. Yeah.
and she's not in enough of that movie for me to say that I wanted to see more or less of that character. I think that it was a cool addition to that movie, but no, we really only have one other Supergirl movie, and it wasn't very good.
No.
And the show was good. I enjoyed at least up to season 4, then it kind of jumped off the rails. But I thought Melissa Benoist was fantastic in that show. I thought that she was great, but even she got flack. I mean, I'm old enough to remember her going to that women's march and holding up the sign, and people were mad at that.
God, man. You know what sucks about all this? I feel like we complain about the world all the time. But it kind of feels like we're never going to get away from this. The
Yeah.
fans are going to continue to bash. They'll continue to ruin movies. I mean, can we ever reach a point where this will circle back and get away from that, or do you think we're just too deep?
I think some people are way too deep into their personal opinions, and we saw the Spider-Man franchises deal with the same thing where people drew their line in the sand of I'm a Sam Raimi guy
Yeah,
or
yeah.
I'm a Andrew Garfield Spider-Man guy. And there are some people that did want to accept those two movies because they were a fan of the Sam Raimi movies. And there
Mm.
were other people that were on the opposite side of like, I never liked the Raimi film, so this is my Spider-Man. And then you have some of those people that are like, I'll never accept the Marvel movies because I felt like I should have got a third Amazing Spider-Man movie. And so you currently have that going on, but like you've added into the mix the Snyder fans, and
Yeah.
these are people that will just never let this go for some reason. And those people, they're not talking in good faith. Some of these people, they just want this movie to fail just so they can turn around and say, "See, we were right. Bring back Snyder," which he's
God,
never coming back. Just let it go.
just
Um,
let it go.
those movies weren't very good. He had his chance. Those movies did not do well. It's okay. Move on. But you also, it's hard to ignore like the current political landscape and what that has to do with this movie,
Mm.
and the amount of bots that are on social media now.
It's
And
Lex's monkeys, man.
yeah, the amount of bots that are on there, the amount of people that are pushing agendas that have nothing to do with whether this movie is good or not.
Yeah.
And you have the elephant in the room looming over this of this big Paramount sale and Warner Brothers, and people immediately saying, "Okay, when the next regime comes in and Paramount takes over, James Gunn is going to get outed." But of course, certain people want to see it that way because you're seeing this as this big government overreach where they're going to go in and make the movies they want to make, and we don't have to deal with any more of this woke pandering.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's frightening. I don't know what's going to happen with that. I've written about this recently, that whole deal, and I just, I mean, you've got plenty of people inside Hollywood going, "Hey, this is bad for business. If
It
nothing
is.
else, even if it wasn't political, it's bad for business."
I mean, even if you're just looking at it outside of the viewpoint of a creative,
Yeah.
it's not a good idea that you should have a current regime in the White House that has an effect on censoring what creatives can do. It's not good.
I mean, it's a bad time to bring this up, but we're talking about it. I think we're screwed. I can I be honest with you? I think they win again. I think they win again the next election. I don't think it's over. I
We
I just don't. I think we're in it for the long haul. I don't see us getting it back. I'm serious.
we got 3 more years of this, and it's going to be interesting to see how the pendulum swings back in the other direction. Because as we've seen multiple times with American politics, it has to get really, really bad for people to see, oh no, we got to vote the other way because look what this is doing. And I do think it's going to get worse and worse over the next 3 years. And I do think it's going to get bad enough for people to vote Democrat again because I mean, if you just currently look at how bad it is within just a year and change,
Yeah.
it's pretty bad. And
I mean,
so
I
I
hope you're right.
I don't know, but yeah, I mean, just that aspect of this. I mean, you've got a character in Superman that stands for truth and justice and, you know, the freedom to stand up to a big megalomaniacal millionaire.
Mm.
And in real life, you've got this megalomaniacal millionaire that's winning.
Yes.
You
Yes.
can't
I
make this
don't.
stuff up.
No, you couldn't. No, and again, so much of this stuff wasn't even planned. I'm sure, but I mean, this was probably planned. But no, the rest of it, the whole Daredevil thing, we've noted on this show before that none of that was planned, and yeah, just
Yeah, I mean, it's not lost
bizarre.
on me that a lot of people on the right do not like James Gunn.
Yeah,
And there are a lot of right wingers that like Zack Snyder, that prefer his movies.
of course, dude, bros.
Yes. And of course, I'm not trying to make that, politicize that, but that's just the truth of the matter.
I'll do it.
That does exist.
It
Um,
does.
and I just, again, I just think a lot of this is very disingenuous. A lot of this outrage to this movie is not, it's not genuine. It's not being done in good faith. And I have no problem at all if somebody went and saw this movie and walked away and said, "This was not for me. I did not like that." But the extent of the outrage is very, very much overblown.
Yeah, yeah, yes. God, you know what? We're just broken records, man. It feels like every movie and project we review that have women as the lead
It's,
or a minority, we just end up saying the same thing, and we're right every time.
it's just so ridiculous to watch. And every time you'll have people online, they're saying, well, they're just pandering. And it's like, I just don't understand how your takeaway could be that, oh, they're only making this movie and allowing a woman to write it to pander to people. And it's just like, by the law of averages, there are more men writing and directing these movies.
Mhm.
Why is it such a big deal that this movie was made with a woman writing it? Why does it matter?
And
And
also, if you're so right, explain why they would trust a woman with a $200 million budget to begin
Yeah,
with.
it just reeks of the same kind of talking points of people that complain about DEI
Yes.
and, affirmative action, hiring and stuff. And it's just like, I mean, you kind of showing your hand when you think the only reason the writer of this movie was hired was because she was a woman. I mean, for early on when this movie was announced, James Gunn said he loved the script for this movie and he greenlit it because he just loved the script. It had nothing to do with who wrote it. He liked the script.
Yes.
And to that point, the people that wanted to make this movie, they liked the idea of making a movie based off of Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, because it's based off a very popular miniseries written by a man.
Yes, good point.
And Tom King is a consultant.
And if you're a comic book fan, you know Tom King's got some serious street cred, man.
Yes. And that's why I was so confused when people were like, oh, well, how could they get this wrong? They adapted it wrong. Well, isn't Tom King a consultant on the movie?
Right. Yeah.
It's just so much here that is such a non-issue. I also think we've got to stop taking these things so seriously. I had this realization one day thinking about comic book movies and what happened after Dark Knight was made, and a lot of these things became so self-serious, and it's like, oh well, the day of the comic book movie no longer being a joke. These are these big billion-dollar movies and these big lucrative IPs. Everything changed, and now it's like, no, I remember when something could come out and it wasn't really a hit; it was a dud, and we just moved on.
Yeah.
Just think about how many comic book movies ended up being duds, and it's just like, it wasn't the end of the world. It was made and we moved on. Hey, you got the movie you wanted at one point with a very hot woman as the lead actress of it, and it ended up being a dud in Catwoman.
Yes. Good point.
I don't know. These things happen. I just don't think all of these things are going to be hits, and I don't think that it matters if it's not a hit. It's not the fucking end of the world. It's fine. It's okay if a movie is just okay. It doesn't have to light the world on fire.
Yeah, and the pushback, and look, I've said it, I'm guilty of saying it too. The pushback has always been, if this happens enough, studios are not going to let creators play with their toys anymore. It's going to become, we're not going to roll the dice on this comic book movie because look what happened the last time we tried it. But that Warner Brothers owns DC. They're not going to stop anytime soon, right?
No, we're long out of that bubble.
Yeah.
There's never going to be a time period where they stop making Batman or Superman movies because they do very well. They're going to keep making Spider-Man movies. They do very well. I don't think it's a bad thing to go in the middle of this time period where these big flagship characters continue to do well, that you make a movie like Supergirl that maybe isn't for everybody, but it might be for some girl somewhere that has never got anything like this.
Yeah,
Everything not only doesn't have to be a hit, but everything doesn't have to personally be for you.
Right. There's more people besides you on the planet.
It's okay. I don't know where we got to this place where it's like, if it's not a smash hit, I don't want to hear about it. Not all of these things are not going to be a smash. These are books made about people in tights. It's okay.
Dude, the movie you hate the most, I guarantee you, is someone's favorite movie of all time.
Yes, it's okay. And there are tons of comic book movies that are not very good, but they're somebody's guilty pleasure. I have comic book movies that are guilty pleasures. And it's okay. Just think about every Batman movie ever made. Think about every Superman movie ever made.
Yeah.
Did we get to the point with Superman 3 or Superman 4 and go, that's it? Stop making these now.
Yes.
This is a terrible movie. This is it. Now this movie is flop. We got to stop making them. Why is that only a thing for Supergirl? Now just, all right, that's enough. Don't make another one.
Right. Yes, there have been bad Superman movies, but we're going to tap out with the Supergirl flick. Yeah, I get it.
There are more bad Superman movies than there are good Superman movies when you really think about it.
Yeah, well.
Tops, there are 3 good Superman movies.
Superman 1 and 2 and the last one.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, people will debate you on Man of Steel, but like, again, you've got Superman Returns, you've got Superman 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Like I said, there are more bad ones at this point than there are good ones.
But nobody
says this about Superman.
I mean, here's the truth. I'm with you, and I've been with you through this whole episode. I'm with you most of the time. But even though I'm with you, I'm very upset that people hate it the way they do because I truly wanted this to be like, I'm not going to say they're going to recreate the rise of Marvel. No one's going to be able to ever do that again, ever.
Yeah.
But with this being the second movie in this journey of the new DCU, I was thinking, boy, I hope everybody loves this movie.
But I mean, we've gone through this even with the MCU. That first year of MCU movies, all of those movies weren't a hit.
But not the second film, though,
I mean,
right?
the second movie out was Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, I guess, but that wasn't.
It
But
wasn't.
to be
It's,
fair, at the time they didn't realize that what they were going to do until they started thinking about it, right? So
yeah, but I think the thing that worked in their favor is they came out right away and they told you what you should be looking out for moving forward.
mm,
And they made every movie feel must see because you didn't want to miss something. It's like, once we get to Incredible Hulk, even though Incredible Hulk is, you know, people like that movie, but it's not like, one of the most beloved movies from phase 1.
mm,
When people think of Incredible Hulk, they think of Robert Downey Jr. showing up in that movie. And because he showed up, it made you think as a moviegoer, oh, I can't miss the next movie because I don't know what breadcrumbs they're going to plant in that movie that I might miss
that's
that
it.
leads to something else. And they did it so much that they managed to perfectly market their shared universe where it's like, oh, I got to go see this one because this is all leading to Avengers. And then once we get to Avengers and we get the Thanos appearance, it's like, oh, I got to keep going because like we're going to get more of who is Thanos. And like, you know who the big bad is. Like at this point, if they're leading to something with a big bad with the DCU movies, we don't know it yet. They
Yeah.
haven't done as good of a job. Now, it's kind of unfair to say that because we're only 2 movies in.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, they haven't done as good of a job setting up the next thing and getting fans to want to buy in and see the next movie. I think they've done a great job in some ways setting up subtle hints for where they're going.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything we said with the end of this movie and how that's probably going to have ramifications and how we're probably going to see Lobo again. And in some of the breadcrumbs they set up in the Peacemaker show. But they haven't smacked us over the head like MCU did.
And I was very disappointed by no end credits and no mid credit scene. I was very disappointed by that.
Yeah, and see that's again they conditioned an entire audience to know don't leave, stay for the entire movie, stay for the entire credits.
I mean, that was a mistake. Can we just be honest? Regardless
Yeah,
of how well what movie was going to perform, you know James Gunn knows what he wants to do. There's no
yeah,
sense in you can have secrecy. There's no sense in not giving us something. They should have led into this film with something to make you go. And it could have been, to your point, we could have been in a bar somewhere and Lobo could have been sitting there kicking back a few and he's talking to someone that's off camera. He's saying, "Yep, I sat there and watched the whole thing. She stabbed him right there in front of me." And then the camera moves to show Brainiac or whoever's sitting there with him. That would have been insane.
yeah. I think if you're gonna do all this stuff in space and he just like walks into like this like space cantina, he's like explaining this whole thing, and we don't know who they're talking to, and it turns into the Green Lantern.
Oh, yes.
That would have been great because again, you're setting up the seeds for somebody that is from Earth
Yeah.
to now possibly distrust Superman. Um, but again, none of that really kills my interest in this universe going forward. Unfortunately, because Marvel did it so well and they laid such a great blueprint, everything is going to be compared to that now.
Yeah.
And I don't mind things like Gunn not doing the mid credit scenes, wanting to do things his own way. Um, but you got to understand that that's what a lot of moviegoers are looking for now.
Yeah, yeah, dude. You whether you as a director want to do it or not, you're gonna have to do it. And that's it. You
Yeah,
you have to.
and,
It's
and,
about giving the fans something to, like you said, a reason to come see the next film.
yeah, and it's like you're setting Gunn up to be their Feige here, but at the same time, it kind of feels like he's doing what a lot of people kept asking Marvel to do with their directors: let them do their own thing, don't
Mm.
meddle too much,
Mm.
and just focus on your movies. And that's what he's doing. He's focusing on making Man of Tomorrow. And I feel like there wasn't a ton of meddling in this movie. But I also feel like people are saying in so many ways that they wanted more meddling.
Well, supposedly Lobo was like a late addition because they wanted to do the 3-act structure and they felt like it was going to, kind of stretch it and
Yeah.
raise the stakes to a degree. I mean, it I can't say, well, it felt like it was added on. Did the movie need him? I don't know if it needed him. I don't know what
Yeah.
kind of pivotal role he played, but I also didn't hate it because he was fantastic. I mean, do you think it
Yeah.
should have been more deliberate placement with him?
Well, I read somewhere that Tom King initially wanted to put Lobo in the book,
Hmm.
and something happened where it just didn't work out. So they were glad that they could, make it work and put Lobo in the movie.
Mhm.
I think it would have been a mistake to have all of this stuff happen off planet and they didn't use any recognizable alien character to be a tie-in later.
Mm.
And I think in that way Lobo worked because yeah, we didn't see a ton of him here, but I do have the suspicion we'll see him again because he was great and Momoa is such a big star. But yeah, if you did all of this stuff off world and it's just like a bunch of nameless aliens that she's coming across, at some point there's so many alien characters you could use.
Mm.
Um there's something it would have been a mistake to not. I mean, even if you were gonna like name drop the Martians or something
Yeah.
and give us like something at least to Martian Manhunter. It needed to be something to connect to another recognizable alien character.
Yeah, I love the Lanterns tie-in because at some point,
Yeah.
I know it's only 2 movies, but well, we did get a Green Lantern in the first Superman film, so that's fantastic. I love that we got Guy because you kind of have to establish very early on the Green Lantern Corps because they are all over the universe, right? So like you have to get that in there. Um, and there's so many of them. You could throw one in any movie you wanted to for a quick cameo. They'd be in and out. We're done. Which I love that they could be sort of a unifying thread through
Yeah.
all these movies, man.
Yeah, and I mean they've set up little things that it's Easter eggs you'd have to be like really paying attention to. But again, not enough stuff that's like what Marvel did where they just like you couldn't miss it. You couldn't miss
Right.
these Easter eggs. I mean, one of the big ones is the sword is made out of they keep saying it's the strongest metal in the world,
Mhm.
which I assumed it has to be the same thing that Hawkgirl's mace is made out of because that was always the mythos behind it.
Mm. What is the strongest male in the DC universe?
Isn't it like nth metal?
Something like that? I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's what Hawkgirl's mace is made out of. So I assume that that's going to come back in some way.
Interesting.
Um, and you made a point of her saying that she wants to follow in her dad's footsteps and be a swordsmith.
Ah, well done. Yeah, that's true. By the way, does she end up becoming someone in the books? Like, it's a new character, I assume. Yeah.
Well, in the book, everything is written from her point of view. She's
Hmm.
writing a book from her point of view to tell the story of what happened.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And so at the end of the book, at least from the spoilers I've seen, because I still haven't finished the book, but it's been
Mhm.
spoiled for me at this point.
Right.
At the end of the book, we get a jump forward in time to Krim exiting the Phantom Zone as a redeemed convict, and Ruthie as an older woman meets him, and she kind of like bashes him over the head.
Mm.
Which that led to this quote from an interview where the writer of this movie uh, thought that Ruthie kills him in the end, which she doesn't. It's left ambiguous
Right.
whether she kills him or not.
Interesting.
Um, Tom King has said in an interview that it wasn't supposed to be ambiguous at all, that Krim is still alive at the end of the book. But because everything, like I said, it's a book inside of a book. It's a book
Yeah.
that is narrated by Ruthie telling the story. It's a lot there that's ambiguous. I thought, but
Right.
again, I don't think it bothers me, and I don't. the Krem thing and changing it so Supergirl kills him doesn't bother me. It'll only bother me if they never follow up on it.
Hmm. Yeah, to your point from earlier, I feel like that there's a lot of good stuff, a lot of good angles you could take here, a lot of good things you could do. And look, if nothing else, this is going to break Clark Kent's heart. And I think that by the time we see these two together again, that she's going to be closer to him than she has been before. I mean, sure, her guard will still be up because it's
Yeah.
her. But Buddy, when she sees that it's hurt him, I think she's going to feel that way more than maybe we're thinking.
Absolutely. I think they're going to butt heads over ideology. But
Yeah.
I think when she sees the consequences of this mistake of killing someone wearing that suit,
Yeah.
I do think it's going to have weight to it.
Yeah, I think someone's going to die. I think it may be someone from the Superman cast. I don't know how high up the food chain they go, whether it's Perry, I don't know. But I feel like there's going to be real stakes. And then everybody's going to be able to look at her and go, if not for you, he would still be alive.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many ways they could go with this. I mean, just imagine all because there is a very Mad Max vibe to this,
Yes.
and that's the other reason why the stuff with the trafficking doesn't bother me because it feels very close to like the brides from like Furiosa.
Mhm.
And so, and just imagine like there is like a band of women somewhere out in space, and they're not like space pirates, but they're like going around liberating other women.
Mhm.
And it comes out later they're doing this with a big flag with the Superman symbol on it.
Oh, my.
There's like I said, there's so many ways that can go with this that this could blow up in her face that she did not think about.
Right. That's wild. Yeah, dude. I like that a lot. I think that actually fits very well, man.
Because we also saw that in the first Superman movie, and a kid with a Superman flag, and it meant something totally different.
Well said. That is true. Yeah. Dude, I would love if they would just keep doing that connective tissue, like you just said from that flag. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, but that's why I'm like, I just don't buy that this is just a one-off. I don't think that they would make such a drastic decision with this character, and it's not going to have any kind of consequences.
Right. Yeah. Overall, because I mean, like we said, there's some issues here. Do you think this movie did, I mean, possibly what they wanted it to do, or do you think that it missed the mark? I mean, did it deliver the way, despite reaction? I'm not even talking about that, but does it deliver on the points that it needs to in order to get us to the next chapter? Do you feel like?
If this is just an introduction to this version of Kara, I think it did exactly what it was supposed to do. If this was to get me interested in a sequel, I'm interested. Even if we don't get a sequel, if this is just to get us interested in seeing more of Kara in a Superman movie moving forward, and we already know she's going to be a Man of Tomorrow, I'm already interested in seeing her again. I'm already interested in seeing more of her dynamic with Clark. I thought that was some of the strongest stuff in the movie.
You know how we've looked back on Thor: Dark World and given it like a second look and a different consideration because of Endgame, like because of the stuff the Avengers did later. Is it possible that if they pay all of this off in the next Superman film, that people are going to stop and go, maybe that Supergirl movie wasn't so bad after all?
I do think that this movie is going to do better when it goes to streaming as well. Because we saw
Oh,
it with Marvels, and how when Marvels went to streaming, people were like, "Wait a minute, you guys hated this movie? Why?"
right.
And
Yeah.
I think that's going to happen with this movie. I think more people, when they do finally see it, they're going to have the same reaction we did of like, "Why did you guys hate this?"
Yeah.
And Dark World is such a good example because this is exactly what I meant earlier. Of if we went by this logic of the second someone has a bad movie, all right, wrap it up, don't make another one, then we wouldn't
Right.
have gotten Thor Ragnarok, which was the best one out of those Thor movies.
That's true. Yeah. Man, that Ragnarok movie is so fun, dude.
Yeah, and I mean, there's so many other examples like that where if we're like, yeah, nope, I didn't like that first one. Like,
Right.
if even people that are like, if it was just okay.
Right.
I think some people felt that way about First Avenger. If you're just going by, okay, the first Captain America movie was just okay, which I don't agree with,
Totally.
but let's just say if that's your point of view, then we don't get the next two movies, which are two of the best Marvel movies.
Yes. That first Avengers movie is very good, dude. I'm sorry.
Yeah, man, I don't think up to New World Order there is a bad Captain America movie. I think
I
that
don't think so either.
there
Yeah.
is, and I don't necessarily think New World Order is a bad movie, but it's the worst of the four because the first three are so good.
Yeah. By comparison. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Well, kids, we warned you ahead of time that we didn't hate this movie. And so like we probably didn't change your mind if you hated it.
I
But
mean,
I'm just here to tell you, to Phil's point, like, on some level, the only how am I get this out? The only way things change is if people make the decision to change. We
yeah,
can't necessarily stop the juggernaut that is dude bro culture because it's, I mean, obviously alive and well, but we can as individuals choose not to give it any more credence. I mean, if enough of us do that, hopefully it will lose its impact at some point and these movies won't suffer as a result because this used to just be art, Phil. It just used
yeah,
to be a vision, a writer, a director, a producer, whatever, an actor, whatever you want to say. And now art is just being, let's hold it to the fire and
yeah,
let's rip it into shreds. Like, remember how art used to be ripped to shreds because people didn't understand it? And now it's like, let's rip it to shreds because it doesn't satisfy me personally.
yeah. And I mean, you've got the two conversations going on with this same studio, by the way. There's a Batgirl movie made that was never released, and you have
Yes.
fandom that's saying, "Put that movie out. We want to see it. It doesn't matter if you guys don't think it's good enough." And now you're telling us, "Hey, don't make another one of these Supergirl movies." What? I just think we're in a place where you should allow these movies to just be okay, and not
Yeah.
just it's specifically this kind of movie where there is no franchise like
Yeah.
this. There is no franchise for a female-led superhero movie.
Right.
I think at the very least, should allow Supergirl to develop, allow another director to come in, allow another writer to come in and improve on it. And maybe we get a second movie that's better.
Right.
Maybe we get a third movie that's better. But we don't know that if you immediately write it off after one movie and say, "Well, I don't like the actress. I don't like what she said in the interview. I don't think she's attractive enough." Like, what does that have to do with anything?
Nothing. Yeah.
It
God
just
almighty.
I don't know. And I had to go and do research to find out what did this woman say in the interview that was that bad, and it was a big nothing burger.
What was it? Because I have no idea.
They asked her about some of the reaction sheet that women get. I'm of course paraphrasing. And her answer was, women have to deal with so much just for existing. And like, the reaction is what it is. And people got so mad at that. And so of course someone else asked her about the reaction to that quote. And she was like, "Well, I never said men. I just said people. It's just interesting that men took that and then got mad."
Right.
And but it's like that comes with the territory. She's been in other franchises. She was in Game of Thrones franchise. And
Ah.
so she's no stranger to like online discourse, and she's in her 20s, so she's grown up in the era of cyberbullying and like
Mm.
online fandom. She knows what this is like. And so I thought it was very surprising that people took this stuff so to heart. But again, I don't think any of that's being done in good faith. I think it's just like, well, how dare she? Like she's supposed to say the right things, and she's supposed to, make us want to go see this movie. She doesn't have to accept being harassed silently to get you to watch a movie.
Or should she have to?
No. And, her answers to these questions, like, I think she said in one of these interviews, like, well, if some, Christian man that hates what I said never had any plans on watching this movie anyway, doesn't go see the movie, I don't think it's the end of the world. And
No.
people were mad at that. And it's like, hey, maybe she shouldn't have said that, but also, who cares? Who cares?
Yeah. Oh, it's so infuriating. Who was the last actress to really speak out and say stuff? I'm trying to remember who it was.
Brie Larson, and a lot of people were upset with Brie because she said the percentage of female film critics that review these movies is very disproportionate.
Yeah.
And she was right. And people were so mad at her for saying that, but I'm like, but she's right.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing that happened with this movie.
Man alive. And you know what's crazy is that this used to be interesting. This used to be, wow, they did really? But now, Phil, it's happened so often, we just assume it's going to happen now.
Yeah, it's so boring and predictable, and it's just
Yeah.
so embarrassing. It's just like, dude, if you don't want to support these movies with a female as a lead, then don't.
Right.
If you don't want to support something with a woman as the lead character, just don't. But don't try to ruin it for everybody else because, there are regular, normal people that might want to go see this as well. There are women or dads that might want to take their daughters to see it. Again, everything isn't for you, man. And
Right.
I do think, anybody that's just like, I want to take my little girl to see this. I don't feel comfortable because of all the cursing in it. That might be valid. But at the same time, did you take your kids to see Guardians?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, cursing's just going to be thrown in. Listen, no disrespect out there, everybody, but I've bumped into adults, and I don't mean 18 years old. I mean 35, 40, 50. When you say a curse word, do they recoil like a hand from a hot stove? And I'm thinking, look, all due respect, they're just words. What are you so freaking scared of, man? Like, I don't know. They're going to be there. I mean, I get your point, but at the same time, they're going to be there regardless. Like,
Yeah. It's not like there was like any like, sex scenes in this movie or anything
no,
that was just that bad. And, you know, even if you want to get into I don't like the idea of, the Supergirl starting this movie as like a drunken party girl. But I don't think it's ever done in a way where it is like trying to make her look good for doing those things.
sure. Yeah. They make it pretty clear it's not a good choice.
Yeah, it make you show right away that she's making bad choices doing this, and she knows she's doing making bad choices.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, if it were a man doing it, would we even care?
I mean, there's something to the idea of like I said, like this is like a western with a woman at the lead, and how many times have we seen like a drunken, disheveled leading man, and like that's part of the appeal.
Hmm. Yes. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, even if you just look at, these kind of movies and like, the space opera and that genre, like, all right, it's cool for Kirk to be a flawed person. It's cool for Star-Lord to be a flawed person. But it's not cool for Supergirl to be a flawed person?
Right. Yeah. We know why. We know why. Come on.
I, I, I don't know. I mean, I think to me, if you're gonna take liberties like this with a character, if it's done in a compelling way, then I'm fine with it. And I thought that they did a lot of good stuff with this character that I enjoyed. I thought
Mm.
that they did enough here to separate her from Superman. And not like I'm this big Supergirl fan. I haven't read a ton of Supergirl comics,
Mm.
but this did enough to get me interested in this interpretation.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Look. I won't. I'm not gonna say I was gonna watch it to see if I'd hate it. It's nothing like that. But when I watch it, I kind of like, well, let me roll my sleeves up and see if I can figure out why everybody hates this. I'm telling you, man, I just don't. It's asinine, man. It's asinine.
Well, I was immediately intrigued when I saw that they were basing it off of the Woman of Tomorrow comic because I had heard so many good things about the book. And I had already
Right.
planned to read the book anyway because people keep recommending it and I like a lot of Tom King's work. So, I was already intrigued by that and then just the way that she was introduced in the Superman movie, I was like, "Okay, I'm in. I'll check it out."
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's wild. I mean, I love Milly Alcock. I thought she did a fine job. I like the movie quite a bit, and people can choose to hate whatever they want to hate. I won't be able to change their mind anyway. But look, kids, you have to understand, and I'm not trying to apologize for anybody. These folks have more money than I'll ever have in my life. But Supergirl is not a story about becoming a hero. It's the furthest thing from it. It's a story about what happens when a hero realizes survival and morality don't always point in the same direction. And sometimes the only way forward is to live with what you choose. It's what
Yeah.
she's trying to get through to Ruthie. It's what she ends up having to do. And Buddy, when she shows up in Metropolis at the end, she looks like a different person. So it's like she's at peace finally. And she
Yes.
tells him, I think I'm going to stick around. it no longer looks like she's drinking her life away and that she's drowning her sorrows, Phil. It looks like she's come full circle now.
Yeah, and I think that's what this is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a coming of age story for her, and I think it works really well in that way. Does it have its flaws? Absolutely. Um, but I thought it worked really well. By the time she does go back to Metropolis and she has the conversation with Clark in his apartment, like I said, I bought in. I bought into their relationship.
Yeah, I agree. Well, kids, here's what I'll tell you as we wrap this up. If you're a comic book fan, if you love that first Superman film and you've not seen this, do not listen to the Dude Bros. I don't care if your best friend hated it and is trying to influence you. I read a statement, or not a statement, but a comment the other day on some post where the whoever posted was bashing the film left and right, and one commenter said, "I was excited to see this movie, but then when I heard it was bad, I decided not to watch it." Kids, have your own opinion, for crying out loud. If you want to watch something, watch it.
Yeah, but I think people have to also understand. People like you and me, we're in.
Yes, for sure.
I've gone to the movies and seen several bad comic book movies. And hey, man, I had a good time, or I didn't have a good time. I went to see X-Men 3. This was not X-Men 3 bad. I went to see Amazing Spider-Man 2. This was not Amazing Spider-Man 2 bad.
Right.
No, I've seen. I went to see that Fantastic Four movie at the theater. The last Fox Fantastic Four movie I went to see at a theater. This is not nearly as bad as that movie.
Right.
I've seen some clunkers at the movies. And even if it wasn't a comic book movie, I've gone to the theater and seen some bad movies just to go to the movies to see a movie.
Right.
And that's why I'm like, this idea that they all have to be winners. It's like, I get the economy and I get people want to save their money. I get this came a week after Toy Story 5, and maybe you don't want to rush to see a movie that you're not that interested in because you want to see how Buzz and Woody are going to pull out of this one. But I don't know, man. I don't think it's that serious. It's just a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Jesus. By the way, do they pull out of this one? I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen Toy Story 5 yet. I said I wanted to check it out. It's on the list of movies I want to see. But yeah, listen, if this one's not good, there'll be another one that will be. It's okay.
I mean, I just keep thinking part 3 should have been that. I mean, how do you come back from they nearly die in the furnace together? I think we're done at that point,
Yeah. Is that Toy Story 4 where they almost die in the furnace? Or
no, that's number 3. I never saw number 4.
Okay, yeah. 4 is okay. 4 is the weakest one of the 4. Like I said, I still haven't seen 5.
Oh, well.
4 is not bad. I don't think it's a bad movie. It's just the weakest out of the 4 because the other 3 are so good. I still think 2 is the best one.
Well, kids, there you have it. There is Supergirl. And again, I tell you, make your own decision, for crying out loud. Don't let us, I'm not saying don't let us talk you into it, but even if you think we're wrong, wait for it on streaming if you want to, whatever.
I mean, given the times we're in and what's going on with creatives, with AI and studio meddling, you've got what's looking like it's going to happen with this Paramount sale. Hey, man, support creators.
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Support creators and support people that are making these things, even if they're not making things you love, because it could all go away.
And not only that, when you're going to start supporting creators, start with us. You want to know why? Number one, we'd appreciate it. Number two, we're not celebrities and we're not actors and we're not comedians. And look, nothing against all those folks. I like a lot of their work. They didn't need this medium, but now they're here. And they've completely taken it from regular folks like me and Phil and some other people you probably listen to. So, like, if you're going to support anybody, they don't need your money. They don't. And they don't really need your support. You can listen to their shows if you want to, but how about giving us a little bit more engagement? Because, buddy, we're fighting like hell to get it.
Yeah. I mean, to the point with, like, the movie theaters and, the MCU doesn't turn into, like, this billion-dollar juggernaut if people don't go and support the movies.
That's it, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, this Marvel studio is from scratch. They
Yep.
can't that if that first Iron Man movie fails, we don't know what's going to become of Marvel Studios. But because Iron Man was a success and people were patient and kept supporting the movies, we got Avengers, we got Endgame, we got all of these big hits there, and that's why I'm like, and I'm of course not just saying, just go and watch every comic book movie, but I do think there's something to this idea of like, oh well, you know, uh all of these end up in the same result for these superhero movies with a woman as the lead. Well, if you don't support the ones we get, the studios are going to think that nobody wants to see them.
Right. I mean, that's it. What you just said is it. Like, you can't spend all these days talking about, I wish we had this and wish we had that, and then when they give it to you, you turn on it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying go and then prophesize it to the world of how great it is when you truly don't feel that way. But good Lord, form your own opinion here.
Yeah, this is the studio that people are like, hey, put this Batwoman movie out, put this Batgirl movie out.
Yeah.
Hey,
You know what happened? By the way, I would love to see that Batgirl movie. But buddy, if they put it out, you know what's going to happen.
if they put it out and it's bad, oh boy. Because they're currently putting out the Looney Tunes movie that got a lot of press.
Mm-hmm.
And they've done things like this before. I mean, that code over there demanded they put out the Snyder Cut, and they put it out.
Yeah. And then we're like, boy, we shouldn't you put it out because we didn't want to see it.
So yeah, I don't know, man. I think people gotta stop taking these things so seriously. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world if you didn't enjoy this movie. And I'm of course not sitting here and telling you you have to love it or that you have to feel the same way that I did about it. But just give it a chance.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least give it a chance before you get on the internet and dump on it.
Right? Jesus. Yeah, you freaking weirdos. I don't get it. You're a bunch of weird people. I'm gonna tell you right now. If any of you guys are listening and you review bomb and stuff, you're freaking weird, man. Get a freaking life, man. Like, yeah, insanity. Well, Phil, before we get out of here, let's get your last word on Supergirl.
Yeah, this was given the reactions. I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed it. Again, not the greatest movie I've ever seen, but there's enough good here that I would like to see more of these characters moving forward.
I'm anxious for that next Superman film, and I'm hoping it's going to make more money than the first one, and I hope that they shut people up. But you know what? If they don't, that'll be fine too. I just don't want it to stop. That's always my fear. Is that Warner Brothers has proven in the past they don't mind shelving a movie. So like, I don't think it would ever happen with a Superman film, but would it happen with a Supergirl sequel? I mean, I guess anything's possible.
Yes.
So we may not even get one. I don't know. But it's yeah, like we said, support creatives. Start with us because we're pretty awesome. And we're not multimillionaires, so we could use your support. It'd mean loads to us.
And buddy, I don't speak for everybody, but I personally would like to see more movies like this. I hope we get another Wonder Woman movie. Hey, make a Vixen movie. I don't know. Make as many movies with women at the lead as possible because
make it normal to see it.
Yes. Not just because, give women opportunities to be in a creative role for these movies, but give women opportunities to be, in a possible star-making performance in these things.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like we just went through this with the Ironheart thing as well, and how much I was just like, hey, this is actually good. Why were people mad at this? And I don't know. Maybe one day we'll stop having this conversation. I hope.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't hold your breath. I got hope, but I don't know if I can keep hope alive. I got it right now. We'll see what happens later. But yeah, kids, give this movie a chance. I'll just end with that because it deserves your time. And I've never steered you wrong before. Not intentionally, anyway. Folks, we appreciate it very much. We talked about supporting. Thanks for supporting us. And thanks for listening to this episode. And we hope you enjoyed it. and come back next week for another brand new episode. Please continue to follow us on the YouTube at Boing Studios and boingstudios.com. We also have a Discord that I've been spending the past week or so trying to work on and tweak and really get back involved in. And it's pretty fun over there. So if you guys want to check that out, please do so. And as always, continue to follow Phil and Reg on Grapsody. And I'm sure they would appreciate that as well. Kids, that's all we got for you. Thanks so much for checking us out, and come back next week. But until that time, that is Supergirl. Hey, thanks for listening to the show. Check out our social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at 6M Podcasts. We'll see you next time.